Okay, going to do a software demo. This is about take 6 on this thing because there's no pause. So hopefully I can get it right this time. Eddie's Bar and Restaurant expects his sales to look something like this for the first 6 months of the year. Eddie wants to know whether or not he can afford a cooler at the end of May, or maybe even earlier. So if we use these breakdowns, hopefully we can come up with what Eddie needs. Okay, so our sales in January, we're going to use the percentages here. Now we might actually physically have a breakdown like this, just depending, but typically we want to use the percentages because we put them across the top here in real life, I guess, for lack of a better word. It seems to complicate things, but actually down the road it makes if we have changes to do or changes in estimates, or what if we sell this or that, makes life a little easier to do something like that. So I'm going to drag it across, and those are our sales in June. Numbers match up. This is good. Our credit sales. Eddie estimates for some reason that he sells a lot on credits, which is kind of weird in a bar, but who knows? Suspect the example is taken from something else. So we take the percentages, credit sales, times the 20,000 in this case. We have 14. That makes sense. Okay, and we're going to try to reference those numbers. Again, so I can drag them across. Now, I don't fill in June. I'm not terribly worried about June. We're just going to the end of May, but we do need some June numbers for our purchases. Now, the temptation here is to take this and subtract this. In some circumstances, when we're doing budgets, that doesn't work very well, and we get into some serious errors down the road. So again, we take the percentages, going to hard reference that, and pull that straight across. Okay. So we collect 40% of our loot the month after the sale. So we collect 40% of our credit sales, not our sales or not our cash sales. We already got our cash sales. Not all of our sales, because some of our sales are in cash. We're collecting 40% of this number here, what we sold on credit. Again, going to use the hard referencing, and I'm going to drag that all the way into June. 2 months after the sale, I'm going to get 60%. Hard reference that as well. Okay. Now notice I'm not too worried about this. I've got a cash balance at the end of February of $2,000. So going back here is not going to help me at all. I'm just trying to fill in what I'm going to be collecting from March onward. So my total cash receipts, going to add up my cash only, and that's the tricky part, the cash I get in the door, because my credit sales is not cash and my total sales are not cash, only the cash. Okay, the cash I got in plus the cash I collected on the older sales. Slide down to purchases on credit. The month of March, according to Eddie's calculations, we're going to collect we're going to buy $19,000 worth of goodies. Okay. And actually, that's the wrong way to do it, sorry. We've got a number over here which is 43%. So our actual purchases, which is this number here divided by this number here, are 43%. On average, Eddie figures out that he's going to be 43% of his sales. Okay, so 43% of his purchase, or excuse me, 43% of his purchases in April are going to be made in March. So if we take his sales, times what's going on in April. Okay, and now I'm going to hard reference CH15. Okay, so I'm purchasing on credit my goodies for the month of April because I'm going to sell them in April. Okay, I can do that all the way across. I don't have to go into June because then I'll be purchasing July. And because we're looking at a cash budget, we only are concerned really with the end of May. So our payables, and actually we need this one too. So we're going to pay them in the month after. So our payables paid, we pay them all. Okay, so that's what we got going out in the month of March, April, May in terms of paying for our bills. So total cash payments. Seems like I'm doing the same thing twice, but kind of not, because I have to calculate sometimes different factors in here. So we're just going to keep it a little bit, total cash outflow. So total receipts from up here. And I see I forgot to drag this over. Okay. Total cash receipts. Same thing. I can drag this over. Total cash payments. Okay, so my net cash flow is going to be my receipts minus my payments. Beginning cash balance, what we set up above is $2,000. Let me just check that. Ending cash balance, the two together. Now my new cash balance is going to be this number here. I can drag that over. Now note these two cells are a little bit different, but these ones are exactly the same. So the question is, can Eddie afford to buy the cooler? The answer would be, at the end of May, the answer would be yes. So tricks to remember, the offsets in the purchases and the credit sales, and when we collect the money and when we pay the money. And to get some information, we need to know prior months and after months of the period that we're looking at. Okay, so that's just a quick rundown of a very narrow cash budget, but these things do happen in this fashion. Okay, now let's see if I can get this to end correctly.